they touched the wrong child. And I am so sorry for them. I wish they knew better. I really wish they did some background check first. I really wish they never had an assumption of who my daughter was. They did not know. And when the word of God says that my people perish for lack of knowledge, this was absolute lack of knowledge. You know, when the Bible says, touch not my anointed, they touched one, and they touched the heart of God. God's work is incomplete. Yes. The assignment that Ebbie was to do in this world, whether she's present physically or not, will be fulfilled. And no one can stand on the way. She was a fighter of people. And that assignment will go on. Yes. Beyond me, beyond my children, and beyond them. That assignment will be imprinted in the minds of every Kenyan in this country and beyond. They will know there was a girl that existed. Her name? Her name is Ebbie.
Justice has been denied because it's been delayed. For 3 years, someone still seeing people who caused so much grief thrive, and probably causing more grief
to other people.
Because you are being entrusted with the same flock. I mean, as a country, we must now rise up, you know. It is not fair, especially when it is to our young ones.
God will work it out. God will work it out. One thing I know, one thing I'm sure, is that God will work it out. For me, God, He's working it out. God is working it out. One thing I know, one thing I'm sure, is that God is working it out.
Hi, good morning guys. Welcome to today's episode of Tales of Wanjiku. Today I get to do this introduction sitting down because I know you've waited for this update for a while. So I'm here with Mama Ebbie Noel Samuels. I love saying Ebbie's name. It's just a beautiful name to say. I'm here with Mama Ebbie, who will be giving us a couple of updates on what has been going on. And of course, we'll get to hear from a very familiar face, our resident lawyer, Sasa. Tumemwita our resident lawyer, Ndegwa, on also why he took up this case. So, Mama Ebbie, good morning.
Good morning. Akiwacha tucheke, tumelia.
Mbona hi, how are you? Good morning.
Yeah, I'm good.
How are you?
Unajua
Tales of Wanjiku ijawahi fanywa introduction kama tumekaa chini. So even me today I feel a bit chilled.
Tunapiga lap.
Tunapiga lap. How are you?
I'm very well.
You're well? Of course you look well. Yes, and guys, by the way, if you can spot, we have Ngwashes waiting for us there on the background. So, now to sameheni if we smile and laugh kidogo, guys, just pardon us. Nikushiba. Tulikuwa tumeshiba na maisha, but we are here now. How is everything?
We are good. We are pressing on, of course, day after day.
Yeah.
We really thank God. Yeah.
The last time people saw you, tulikuwa tumetembea sana ile barabara.
Tulikuwa tumekasirika kabisa.
Yeah, and they've been asking Lynn what happened. So as I said, I know there's things we can't disclose a lot right now because we also don't want to give the enemies all our details.
That's true.
But maybe what has happened since the last time we met?
A few good things have happened, yes. Or should I say a lot of good things have happened with regards to this matter.
Yeah.
And to be honest, my heart feels somewhat relieved. The journey is still long. We are far from over, or should I say far from beginning, now the real deal. But steady steps, you know, a supportive lawyer, you know, a supportive people who reach out. By the way, to be honest, when people say we are our own enemies, I think that's a very small group of people who are just our own enemies. But when it comes to the humanity part of it, Kenyans are a people who gather around one of their own. I have seen support from Kenyans from all walks of life, through prayers. Mwingine anakutolea hata 1 bob.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I have talked to Kenyans from around the world. Just to name a few, there's a lady who actually just called me. She's called Shiko from Saudi Arabia. That woman prays for me. You would think we know each other. I have talked to, I now even have sisters from the US, from the UK, from Germany. So many people, so many Kenyans gathered around me. Prayers, sending encouraging messages until today. And that has not stopped. It's not because my case is very unique, but I just look at that as, you know, just the love, God's favor. I cannot take that for granted. It's really humbling. It's really humbling. Yes.
How does that make you feel knowing you are not alone?
Man, it's very encouraging. Have you ever sat in a place where you just feel like the entire world is crumbling down on you? And then suddenly, you have people who care. You have people who are asking, so how are you today? So how is your day? So how are you feeling? How are you feeling? And then you respond, I'm fine. And they're like, no, actually, really, how are you feeling? And now you become very vulnerable. And you have to go to the core of really who you are and how you feel at that given time. And that has helped me a lot from the inside out. A lot. I really, really do appreciate. I appreciate a big deal.
A big deal.
A big deal. Kenyans, we are good people.
We are good people.
We are good people. It's situations or circumstances or outside unnecessary noise that makes us look like we are not together.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is, we are so together like we've never been. It's that devil whisperer who keeps lying to us over and over. If we can only shun that noise away, we will do so much together.
We'll do
so much. We will have a very good society if we stop listening to that accuser of brethren.
Yes.
We will be so much better because we are united people. We just sleep time to time.
Yeah.
But we are one. The core of who we are is we are one.
And
Yes.
it makes me happy when people come out and they raise their voice and they hold one of their own.
Yes.
And they support one of their own. Like, that really makes me happy. You know, like, it really makes me happy. But in all this now, do you feel Ebbie's spirit around?
You know, the truth is this.
Yeah.
My daughter was a people's person. She cared for the littlest of them around her.
Yeah.
My daughter was in class 8, and she will come and tell you how a situation happened to a class 2, a class 3. In my head, I'm thinking, and I used to ask her, surely you have so much time that you're even looking out for a class 2. Someone passed and hit their cup of tea, and I'm imagining in the school setup, they never used to go for break at the same time.
Yes.
But she just found a way. She had an eye for those people who are not looked at. She had a heart for those people who are almost negligible in that environment. And now, me joining the dots backwards, my daughter was always a fighter. She loved people. She was the purest of souls. She never held anything in her heart. in the name of, I'm angry at you. For what reason? She'll just come and tell you, you've pissed me off. I don't like what you did. The next moment, she's trying to hype you up with something. And now I understand that that spirit never went anywhere.
Yes.
It's still here with us. And that is why it's not just from me, but it's from anyone that knew her. Everyone that encountered my daughter in her lifetime, in whatever way, is bothered to date by her death.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yeah.
When I organized the walk, it was just me and my friends.
Yeah.
But that word went round and round and round and round and round. And on that day, I had parents whose kids went to Sunday school with my daughter in my former church. I had her classmates who are in school in session but chose to come out that day.
Yes.
I had her teachers from Logos, who educated my girl in that school, came to the streets. If you didn't see them, go watch that video. They were there.
It was the teachers.
The teachers came out. What does that even tell you? And they were very angry and very bitter because they could not understand how a child they have nurtured from when she couldn't even go to the bathroom properly to a person who can speak up for herself, and the way they raised her in that school environment, and how disciplined and how such a noble character she was would turn around to be something else that is being hunted down to be killed in a month. They could not understand that. And they came out to say, no, that's a misrepresentation of who we know. That is a misrepresentation. And now we know. We want justice for her life.
Yeah.
It cannot just go out like that. You dimmed a star. It cannot just be left like that. You just dimmed, you burned, you turned off that flame. But what you didn't understand is you touched the wrong child.
Yes.
You touched the wrong one. Ebbie was the kind of person who, even in the things of God, absolutely curious, will ask questions, had got to a point where she was very cautious of her and very aware of her relationship with Jesus that she did not want to wrong. I have her diary, the last notes she wrote before going to high school. She didn't want anything to do with boyfriends. It was about her education and her salvation. Absolutely. And she made sure that she was baptized in December of 2018, 1 month before she went to high school. And for her, it was, the declaration was to show people that she is truly a follower of Christ. And she lived that. She lived that life. Kabisa. So for someone to think that you're just coming from a background or a place where you are unaware, you know, there are people who just grow up. You don't have some direction. You don't have a sense of direction for whatever reason. My daughter was different. We never took the things of God lightly. We never took life lightly. And so that, it is that bright light, it's that star, can never be dimmed by anybody. Never. No powers of hell or the devil can dim that. They touched the wrong one.
Yes.
And God is not happy. And if he's not happy, how dare we be happy? And yet we are his children. We can't. We will not settle until.
Yes.
We will not.
Until.
Until.
Yes.
We will not. This one is a pact I made with God. I don't care what people will say out here. Rest in peace. My daughter didn't want to rest. She had an entire agenda of her life listed down in a piece of paper, in a book. So this was the devil coming to step in. But I made a pact with God that that child of mine, I know she is with you. But until, like the blood of Abel that was screaming from the ground, that one is screaming too. It's not resting. It is not resting. And it is destabilizing all corners of anyone who ever hurt her from that institution. So, by the way, they are not safe. They are not safe. They can go, they can do rituals, they can go do whatever they think they can to, you know, clean themselves up. But the blood of Jesus is protecting this one. They are not going to have anything easy. No, it's not happening. Yeah.
Do you feel some sort of peace yet or not?
It's a journey, Lynn, honestly speaking. It's a journey. And it's a long journey. I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, feel sorry. From the bottom of my heart, I feel sorry for anyone who ever looked down on my child because of who she was. Because she did not choose who she was. You see, before we are born into this world as children, we exist as a spirit in the spiritual world. God just appoints a specific time for this soul to come into life as a human. So my daughter existed in the heavens before she existed on earth. And the course of her life was not dictated by anybody, but somebody stepped in the way and felt like God's assignment and God's work was not good enough, and developed a hatred towards my daughter, and eventually led to her death. God's work is incomplete. The assignment that Ebbie was to do in this world, whether she's present physically or not, will be fulfilled. And no one can stand on the way. She was a fighter of people. And that assignment will go on. Beyond me, beyond my children, and beyond them. That assignment will be imprinted in the minds of every Kenyan in this country and beyond. They will know there was a girl that existed.
Her name?
Her name is Ebbie. And that name will not go anywhere. She will be remembered. In the history of the history books of this country. She will be in it. She will be in it. Looking back, those who hurt her, those who did this to your daughter, what would you want them to know? They touched the wrong child. And I am so sorry for them. I wish they knew better. I really wish they did some background check first. I really wish they never had an assumption of who my daughter was. They did not know. You know, in the word of God says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. This was absolute lack of knowledge. You know, in the word, the Bible says, touch not my anointed. They touched one, and they touched the heart of God. Because this girl was like this, aligned, Evie, in a straight line. She might not look like it. You know, you don't go displaying on your face the positions you hold in different places. In fact, people who look around, even in our physical world, people who are big shots, they don't go announcing. In fact, they come in the most feeble of characters, or they just look like they are nobodies. Guy is sitting there and he's a millionaire. He doesn't have to dress up in bling for you to look at them and say, hey, this one is the big guy. But you see, in today's world, people think that in order for you to fit in very properly into the position that you are, it has to be pronounced. You have to drive a big ass car, live in a big ass house. You know, you have to roll with I don't know how many people following behind you. No. No, 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 no. Humility is the mark of character. And those people who are very rich within themselves, they don't go announcing.
Good. Yeah.
They don't. They're not pronounced. They're not bling. They're not flamboyant. They are just normal people.
Yeah.
And so you would bypass them without knowing.
Yeah.
Yes.
To the Teacher Service Commission, we know there's an alleged person out there who did this to Ebbie, but this person is still, you know, interacting, still in the school, still teaching. What would you say to them?
I do not know what code of ethics they operate upon. And it's really, really sad. Because, anyway, you know when they say we are third world trash, it feels like it's coming from an outsider. It's a big insult.
Yes.
But the truth is, that's who we are.
Trash.
We are just third world trash, in all honesty. Because if you would sit there, you are the commissioner, you are the CEO of TSC. One of your own, or a number of your own, have been implicated in taking away the life of an innocent human being that was under their care. The best you can do is summon that person and want to know what happened exactly. And when evidence comes forth, and you know very well, and you know that you know that you know.
And we even have witnesses.
Hey. And you're still sitting there, hoping that one day Mama Ebbie will be quiet. Hoping that one day Baba Joan will be quiet. My friend, there are too many of our children who've been killed in these schools. Schools are not supposed to be prisons. Unless, please, TSC and the Ministry of Education, you come and tell us outrightly here that when we take our children to boarding schools, we have no rights as parents. Then that would be, you give us a level to make a decision. The ministry said,
this is, you have
when
no
I
right.
take my child to a boarding school, I have sort of given away my rights to this child. You will have given me power as a parent to make a decision. Yes. Do I want to? Do I not want to? Why is the ministry so hell-bent on threatening parents, especially when they're admitting children in Form 1? If you don't do, with chiefs and whatnot. And then, when such an incident happens, you don't hear a thing from them. You do not. The same way they were making noise in the media houses, threatening parents left, right, and center. They don't come and say, oh my gosh, we've lost one of our own. One of the children who went to this school, no. So, what is the unspoken between this Ministry of Education and the Teacher Service Commission? Yes. Do you have a pact to actually extinct, or you'll say probably nature is equalizing itself? But if nature is equalizing itself, let nature kill somebody. Let not another human being come and be in the way. Yeah. What is the point? Then what's the point of taking these children to school? I may ask. Why would you want to treat a parent who is going to ask, my child is, and you want to put them there and question them as if they are a stranger to this person? Yeah. Why are you here? We didn't call you. Is it a prison? And is it a must? I thought you make decisions to go get an education. Is it a must? Yeah. Because I'm not going to this school for free. I'm paying. Yes. Is it a must to go through that school anyway? No. Is it a must that my child has to go through the education system in this country? is it a must?
Yeah.
And if it is a must, then why don't you protect? Then why don't you become the big brother and say, yes, it's a must, bring them, and then you become the parent in there. But no. You make it look it is a must, you threaten, you issue statements left, right, and center to make people's stomach roll. And then when they take the children to school, you back off.
You back off.
And then you're bullied like you have no rights over your child.
No.
I've taken care of my child for 15 years. And then you think because you have my child for 1 month, you know them. Who's an idiot here? 1 month. You think you know my child better than I do.
Yeah.
You want to question a child's creed. You want to question a child's identity and tell them the way they are. Who pretends when they are sick? Sickness does not knock. Accidents don't knock. They just happen. And when I say this is how I am feeling, you start telling me I'm pretending. If I don't do the exam, that exam, is it your loss or it's my loss? And I don't think any parent in today's world or even in today's economy, in this country, the times we are living in, I take my child to school and then my child comes home or I get called, your child is sick, come and pick them up, take them to hospital. My question would be, do you think I would take a pretentious child into my house? Even I am going through a certain substance to take them to school. And I wouldn't want that put to waste. So why would you think, you as a teacher, why would you sit there and think that this child is pretending? You're not a medical doctor.
No, you're not.
You have not subjected this child to any tests to ascertain the pretense.
Yeah.
So you care about mean scores more than you care about life.
Who is the idiot here?
Who is the idiot here?
Are you ready to face her?
Absolutely. It's bittersweet. But in fact, come to think of it, Yani, if I had the ability to be the one to arrest, I would be happy. I would be very happy. You see, when people tell you, wachia Mungu, that's a very stupid statement to issue. God created you, gave you a brain, gave you the will to choose evil and good, placed you on this earth, gave you dominion over animals, birds of the air, the fish of the sea, and then you want to tell me niachie Mungu. What are you trying to say? That you're useless? That you're just going through life like nothing? No. God has put you here for an assignment. Do your duty. Do your due diligence. He's backing you up in the spirit.
He is backing you up in the spirit.
Yes.
That part.
But I have to do my bit.
You see, I think you've just summarized when people ask me, why do you do what you are doing? I am being backed up.
Oh yes, and the backing is stronger than a politician's money.
Yes. And yet today we will laugh my people, guys.
No, like seriously.
Yes.
Hey, how long? Even that politician has a tenure. After this period of time, they'll be out. And God can just decide to strike them.
And how long
and
do you
bring
think
calamity.
They'll protect you?
Cursed is man who puts their hope in another man. Cursed. That is God who said, not me. But that is the truth. You're cursed if you think that your shelter is under another man's wing. Me, I am blessed, kabisa. You killed my child. We are here. By the way, I pray for that person. When I pray, sincerely from my heart, I pray, God preserve her health. God, do not... In fact, during COVID period, I was on my knees. I told God, please, 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 don't kill her. Not yet.
Until?
Not yet. Don't take her anywhere. She's supposed to be here to feel it, to see it. Yes. has to be an example somewhere. Hii ni yangu na Mungu, by the way. This one is not even me and DCI or judge or I got nothing to do with that. By the way, ni Mungu tu anafanya kazi behind the scenes. The backup is what is propelling what's happening.
I love that.
Yes.
We have a lawyer.
Mimi sina godfather.
Niko
tu na God.
By day tunanga Godfather.
Mimi sina godfather, mimi niko tu na God. God, the God of heaven. Yes. Wow. The true God. Yes. That is who has my back.
Yeah. And now that we have, you have now Lawyer Ndegwa, you guys, you are working together.
Yes.
How is that like?
It's relieving to have somebody who listens to you, who asks you what do we do here, and they do. And they do, by the way. They do from the comfort of their office, and they go on their feet literally to walk to places and make sure things happen. It's a great help to have.
Yes.
It's a great help to have. So that even when you go to these rooms, when you go to these offices, you feel you have somebody who understands what you don't. And they loop you in and let you know this is it. This is what we are doing, and this is our intention, and this is the outcome we are looking for.
Yeah.
There's nothing as fulfilling as that. And like just walking and not knowing which direction you're moving to.
Yes.
And again, you know, when you walk alone, you might lose your way. But when you're walking with somebody else, you will choose or think this is the right way to move. And then they say, no, I don't think that we go this side, we'll get a dead end, we go this direction. And consulting widely and doing due diligence. And somebody who even just prays for you. There's nothing as great as that. There's nothing as beautiful as that. Because you could be learned and have all that knowledge in your head and have handled even more crazier issues. But if you do not have that center of your life that also just gives you favor, that's what I just love about him. Yes.
Are you optimistic?
I am optimistic. I am optimistic that it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And everything is going to now come out in the open. Not somebody giving a story somewhere, but this will be coming out from credible sources, coming from government agencies who have stepped in to do this work and do it well. So I am just hoping. One death is too many. I keep saying that.
Too many.
Too many.
Too many.
And you see, if this, when this is finally brought to justice, I promise you, it will create a deterrent. It will bring that fear. You will not just raise your hand on somebody carelessly. You will not.
You will not.
You'll be cautious on how to handle the people who are put under your care.
Yeah. This will be the case in point.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We've learned so much from you. I think for me the greatest thing I've learned, even myself as an individual, hakuna uoga.
You
know, I've learned that
when you lose your fear, they lose their power. When you lose the fear in you, when it leaves you, you become powerful. They become afraid. Yes. When you go quiet, Christians, very bad thing. Let's just pray about it. Nothing wrong with prayer. What are you doing besides prayer? What are you doing? It's like somebody who, a perfect example, you're looking for a job. You've not even written up your CV or your resume. You're always praying and saying amen to everything. Preachers say you will be successful, you will have money, you are amening all your way to the grave. You've never stepped out of your house to even go and give that CV to any office. You have never even asked your friends within your circle, guys, I am looking for this is what I can do. You have not even given of your time in any organization so that at least even somebody can spot you somewhere and say, this person got skills.
Yes.
And you're here praying. What sort of a Christian are you? And then here you are. There are very many Christians in this country who will say that. Muntanipiga tu mawe hakuna shida. But the truth is, you just don't pray and sit on your behind. Get up and do something. Get up from your space. Get up and go. Get up and go to the streets. If you have to, if you have no other way.
Get up.
Get up. Get up and knock on those doors. My friend, cry. Scream if you have to. Roll on the floor if you have to. Let someone see your pain. Yes. Because there are many places you will go and you will be bad from the security level. Especially when these people know that they are trying so much to funikia, to cover up everything. Yes. Get up, make noise. And today, we have a better we have a good place to make noise. Social media. Do not be quiet.
Do not be quiet.
Don't tweet. Write that post. Do that reel. Do anything that you can to get your voice heard out there.
I love that.
You never know who is listening, who will see it. And you will see a difference. But when you sit and be quiet, they thrive on your silence.
And your fear.
Yes, because you're afraid. But they don't be afraid. Even if it's dying, you will die one day. So what? You will die with every dream you ever had inside of you. See, I would rather you dispense it out there. Someone will remain listening to you. Don't go with everything God gave you. Leave it here.
Leave it here. We really admire you. We genuinely, as an individual, I'll not speak for everyone. May I just admire you. May I just admire the many times, like all those things that you've taught me a lot also through this journey. You've also instilled, that strength in me that it's okay to do the right thing, even when you think you're the only person standing up for the right things. It's okay. It's okay for you to be who you are. You've instilled that. You have affirmed it. It's a confirmation that we're on the right path. And as you know, we'll keep following this until the end. Until the end. Until, no matter, until the end. Where God's grace permits. And
Mimi, I have a problem with parents. If I only knew the things I have learned since when my daughter died, the things I have learned, I have had to unlearn a lot of things as well. But the things I have learned, parents, when you take your child to any school, any school, if they don't allow you to see the amenities in that school, suspect number one. Suspect number one. Because why are you refusing? Why? What's the big deal? See, I just want to see where my child is sleeping. I did not know. And because of my fear then, I never saw. Lynn, I will tell you with the truth that is in me and without fearing nothing today. When I went to that school and I was carrying my daughter was carrying her box on this side, I was carrying on the other side, going to now where she will go to sleep. If I went there, if they allowed me to go beyond that office block, and I saw what now I have seen, they would have never seen my child there. I would have turned right back. They know that there is nothing to give per se, and that is why they refuse. Find out, where is your child showering? Which toilet do they go to? These are normal things of a human body that happens. Where do they sleep? Is it safe? Is it safe? because you're here saying, oh, lesbianism in schools, they are the ones who are propagating these things. There are no showers in many schools. Like even bathroom cubicles, there is none. So here you are with people who are coming from different backgrounds. Their eyes, minds, and spirits have been exposed to the dark world. You are coming here with all your innocence, and now you're forced to shower in a multitude of human beings. And in today's world, tell me, are you not setting yourself up? But do you have a choice?
No, you don't.
And yet, these schools are wrecking millions in school fees every time kids are going to school.
Every single day.
And especially when even they're admitting Form 1s. They are wrecking millions. What happened to just building an abolition unit? What happened to just building bafu, hata kama ni ya mabati, na iko na floor vizuri, na tumlango nusu-nusu, such that your nakedness is not everyone's cup of tea. Now you're here, you're stripping these children even of their dignity and exposing them to vultures. Because some of them students in these schools are vultures. They come from crazy places. Check. If they do not allow you, run to your heels. Run.
Because they have no right to deny you
Yeah, they'll
that.
just show you classrooms made of mawe. Beyond that, your child is living in a shack.
Go and find out.
There are no bathrooms. They shower outside. Exposed to the entire world and to all the elements. You're imagining you're supposed to be in class maybe by 5 in the morning. Please think about what time these children wake up. And they are showering outside in that cold. Are you not setting yourself up for pneumonia? And they're not giving them hot water to shower. Maji melala kwa ndoo usiku. I'm not saying our children should be babied and become noodle children. But really, there are some things. Apana.
Military camp. It's not a military. It's not a war zone.
I mean, even in a war zone,
they
life
are
is
better.
good.
Yeah, they are
I have
not
been
in
in
a war zone
and life is good.
Yeah.
Hey, where we used to shower in hot water.
Yeah.
It's the time that's limited because you have to do 1 minute and you're out.
And you're out.
Yes, it's not a luxury, but the water is warm.
Yeah.
Because this body, if you don't take care of it,
it will give up on you.
Even this mind will not be able to handle a lot of things.
True.
Every part of your body works together. So you can't humiliate the other and you expect the other one to be sharp.
True.
No.
Nope.
So if you go to these schools and they tell you, oh, they start giving you excuses, please no, there's trouble.
There's trouble.
There's trouble. Your child is just being set up to some nonsense.
To some nonsense.
Yes. And then they will come back to you and then they will tell you, oh, your child is this and that. But guess what? That's where it all started.
That's where it all started.
It started right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want to put you up to a challenge.
Yes.
Because I went through your YouTube channel. By the way, guys, you have a YouTube channel. I know that's new for you guys. I'm not even trying to nini her YouTube because I know she does really less activities there. Yeah. But one day you might bump into her doing some content. But Mama Ebbie, because we've gone through a lot, Ebu bless us with a song. Because your voice is also magical. So, because you've gone through a lot, and I know we've gone through a lot also, and you are like our rock right now. We are looking at you, and we are like, we should be the one cheering her on, but she is the one cheering us on. You are a brilliant soul. So, Ebu, bless us with something that blesses your soul. We are ready, as we are not in a rush.
There's one song that really blessed me. In it's actually it's a poem, though I can't recite. I used to be a poet back in primary school, many years. But again, thanks to a teacher who killed my dream in high school. Teachers can mess you up. The high school I went to, let me just go back a little bit.
Yes.
My mom was so proud of me because I used to have medals on medals, and then I got a scholarship. So I moved from a day school. I went to a boarding school, and it was a private school in Bungoma. Shout out to Marel Academy. That was my school. It was a pioneer class 8 of that year. It was the first candidate class. And when I went to high school in Kaimosi. I remember one of my teachers, my mom has come with me, and she's a poet, she's this, she's that. My mom is excited, super proud of me. And this teacher tells me, now, here, umekuja shule. And I'm like, okay. And he walked me to the gate, the school gate, and told me, wewe na poem zako na kila kitu ya hizo, unaacha hapa. Hapa ukiingia hivi tukiteremka umekuja kusoma. And trust you me, that was the end of my poetry. Kabisa, it never went anywhere. It never happened. I didn't like that teacher. But I never showed him, because my mom always taught me, even when someone angers you, don't show them. So I never did. And he was one of my subject teachers. So you can imagine the burden I had in my heart. And I just feel terrible inside, but he's here, he's my teacher. So anywho, a song that has really kept me is God will work it out. God will work it out. One thing I know, one thing I'm sure, is that God will work it out for me. God, He's working it out. God is working it out. One thing I know, one thing I'm sure, is that God is working it out. Kabisa.
Without fear of contradiction.
Never ever.
God is working it out.
Yeye ndio Godfather.
Yeye ndio Godfather. Sisi tuna Godfather. Yeye ndio Godfather. Asante sana. Thank you. Before we let Loyandegwa speak, what would you like to tell these people watching?
Let's keep fighting. Let's keep speaking up, because you know, when evil starts, it keeps rebuilding itself.
Yeah.
You keep quiet, it coils itself and comes in another form. Let's look out for each other. Let's keep speaking up. It was Ebbie, and then there was Joanne that I know of, and then there is Rooney right now, and then there is Humphrey from the same school, and several others that their stories have not reached to the media.
Yeah.
And those who have not died, they are living injured lives. So they are living injured. And that's not who we were supposed to be. We were supposed to live and enjoy the fullness of life therein. So do not keep quiet. If it has not reached your doorstep, it's coming unless you do something about it. So your silence is pulling it closer to you. When you speak up, they become afraid of you. When you raise your voice, they become afraid and slow down on their evil activities. But when you keep quiet, you give them room to even develop other tactics and what to do. So keep quiet at your own risk. That's all I'll tell you. Keep quiet at your own risk.
Yeah.
If you don't have children, if you don't have people you love, if you don't have people you care about, even you yourself, they will come.
Yeah.
So be very, very careful with what you do with your lips. Yes. And when you hear of an incident that has happened, I remember when my daughter's story came out first through NTV in 2019. Kenyans, women and men, bullied a girl that was dead because of the photos that were on the media. If you don't have something positive to say or constructive to say, shh, zip your lips and keep it to yourself. Because You say things and they hurt people. There's someone who commented, hey, that girl looked like she was sick. Did you know her? If the doctors ruled she was in perfect health, who are you? What do you know? Agents, please, find a different assignment. But for the rest of us who care about the generations of tomorrow and the day after and the day after that, let us pray for our children, and even as we pray for them, listen. Like right now, kids have come home for midterm. This is the first term midterm. Even though the calendar looks, we are in May. They came for midterm yesterday. Listen to your children. Don't be too quick to talk. You're not the one in school. They are the ones in that school. Yes. Listen to them without being too quick to respond. Listen to understand them. Yes. And get to know the challenges they are going on about in that institution. Yeah. And know how to tackle it, know how to help them. But don't be too quick to dismiss them. Yes. You could just be taking them to a death's den, like I did to my own child. So please, I know times are tough. Umelipa school fees and everything. But did you know that your school fees is transferable through the Ministry of Education? Don't be afraid to take your child to a different institution. You unaenda to Jogo House, una report. That school will write a check to the other school you went to. So don't be afraid. By the way, Lynn, these rights parents need to know these things. They don't know. I did not know either until I met a parent who did that. And she was like, but me, they wrote me a check.
I think we need to do a special forum. You challenged me, we do one for the children's NHIF.
Yes, please.
The students NHIF.
Yes.
The parents need to understand.
Need to understand. No one is doing you a favor.
No one. To the end.
Yes.
We need to talk about transferring your student. And we genuinely just need as parents to come together and ask ourselves, are we really listening to our student, to our
Are you listening
children
to your children
when they talk?
Are you listening? The issue is, don't listen with an intent to respond. Listen with an intent to understand. Because a lot of us, we have conversations, but those conversations are like birds chirping. No one is listening to the other.
Yeah.
You're just here itching to speak back.
Speak back.
But that is not how conversations are supposed to happen. You're supposed to even see their body language, their expressions when they are talking to you. Yeah. All that you take in to understand.
Yes.
Exactly. Is this a genuine concern? Is this really it? But when somebody is talking to you, telling you, Mami, this and this is happening, and you're quick to say, Vumilia, hata sisi tulipitia huko. Do you know what's happening today that didn't happen back then?
Yeah.
Back then, people had a little fear of God. Today, they don't. They speak God in their lips, but not God in their hearts.
I'm not alone.
I'm not alone.
You'll never be alone. I can sing. This girl can sing. Sing ni yangu. Sing ni yangu. Sang ni yenyu, my people. Asante sana. Thank you, Mami. Yeah. And I can't wait for us to be back with more updates.
Yes, me
Again,
too.
we have a starting point.
Me too.
You know, people are doing what they are supposed to be doing.
People are doing what they are
Authorities are doing what they are supposed to be doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you know. Yeah, and we will not give all the information to the enemy.
No.
But we will also be there rejoicing when we finally see justice has been done because we are not begging.
You know, Jesus reported and said that he saw the devil struck from heaven like lightning. Kama Yesu alisema hivyo.
Kama Yesu alisema
nitangoja.
Yes, we wait and see. Na si kwa ubaya.
Hata hatuna kinyongo.
Hatuna kinyongo.
Thank you, dear viewers.
Yes.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yes.
My name is Kiroko Ndegwa. I'm an advocate of High Court of Kenya. I practice here in Nairobi in the name of Triple N Company Advocates. And I trust that we are going to have a very wonderful show today.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I have to say I'm happy that we are here again. This is not the first time we've interacted.
Absolutely.
I think you've qualified to be now called LNN, resident lawyer. When vitu zikitulemea, we just bring your way.
Yes.
It's good to have you again, following up a case together.
Yes,
so
yes,
shukran, we don't take it for granted that you've also committed your time to this case.
Yes.
But maybe for those people who might not remember, we worked together on Virginia Kamotho's case.
Yes.
Yeah, so for our new viewers, he's not a stranger here on the show, but umekuwa aje?
Nimekuwa salama. I thank God. God has been faithful.
Yes.
That is by God's grace that I'm here today with you. Yet we are looking forward to another task.
Yeah.
We can only trust God for more grace and, and hope to conquer this task ahead. Yes.
Allow me to ask,
yes.
for you, I know you followed this case all the way even before we took it up.
Absolutely.
Why was it important for you to commit your services to help Mama Ebbie? What was your entry point?
Yes, thank you so much. I actually saw it sometimes back when it was aired by one of our media stations.
Yeah.
I think it's NTV. And well, it raised eyebrows that time because I had something going on with something around that school, something around that constituency. I had another case, and well, it's just like any other Kenyan, I said I hope she gets justice. Then for it to now re-emerge, and I could see now my client, you know, crying out for justice, that for 3 years, nothing is happening. You know, it pricks my conscience every time, you know. I believe no one wakes up in the morning and prays God, give me trouble. It just comes your way. Today it's me, tomorrow it's someone else. I'm a parent. I have siblings. I have, you know, I have people who I love, you know. I'm a human being. I'm just a mere mortal. And if not to make this world a perfect place, just to make it better would be a satisfying call for me to see that when I take, for instance, my daughter to school, I am almost assured that the people who are there are either deterred by the force of law, by the likely consequences of their actions, or just by fear of God. They are likely to treat her well. Then that gives me peace. And unless as a country we are able to stand up together, you know, when someone is hurting, and you just extend that hand, you may not be able to heal all their problems, but just that little effort you may put to make it a better place. It may not even affect you. But if it affects your neighbor, so it will affect you. I don't know whether many of us who read those who are in the old 844 system, there was a story about Hornsbill's problem is Hornsbill's problem. Then it turns out that the moral of the story is that Hornsbill's problem is everyone's problem. I think that's what we should have, that approach. Not for any personal gain, but to make this society better, and that we may hand it over to the next generation, a good society, a just society. Are we looking at justice denied here? Is justice delayed? Definitely, justice has been denied because it's been delayed. For 3 years, someone still seeing people who caused so much grief thrive, and probably causing more grief to other people. Because you are being entrusted with the same flock you hurt. You know, it's like having a leopard shepherd a flock, and you keep crying sheep are disappearing or they are getting hurt, they are getting bruises. I mean, as a country, we must now rise up. You know, it is not fair, especially when it is to our young ones. I'm not saying that any other person's life should be taken away, but for our young ones, where I come from, we believe a flock without the young ones, you know, a flock without the calves is soon going to be extinct. If we don't take care of our young ones, our children, what are we doing to our own society? Are we not facing it? Extinction of humanity. As human beings, we need to have that shred of tenderness, that I should look at your child the same way I look at mine. There is no child who is more you know, more precious. Treat others the way you'd wish you was to be treated. And when someone steps out of that line, let's crack the whip. All the way from the judiciary, the investigative agencies, everyone. And I thank what you do, you know, smoking these people out. Because I don't think all schools are bad or all teachers are bad. But there's just that one element that will even shock us out of our conscience. You're like, God, someone can do all that. It's just shocking, and I must say, if this is the last thing we do, then so be it. Let's give it our best. It's even if to create deterrence. We may not be able to get that life back, but even if to create a deterrence.
Deterrence ni nini, wakili?
Pole. Oh, sorry about that.
Na huko. Yes.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
Deterrence means you forbear. Do I have a better word? You restrain yourself from doing something bad. So it creates some form of restraint.
Yes.
Yeah. It is not good when you hurt someone. I mean, that sounds like a Sunday school lesson, but there is a force of law called the penal code. If people are to be restrained from committing such a crime, such a heinous crime, against a fellow human being, and more so a child, then that should be ours. If that's what duty calls, I'll be happy to be part of it. Yes.
Yeah. What are we looking at? Like, do we have any progress that you can discuss? And I know we cannot also give away too much on the show, because some of these are investigations that are ongoing. But for our audience and people who have followed this from the beginning, what are we looking at?
I want to just give several aspects. When I had a chat with Mama Ebbie, I was telling her, look, it is beyond doubt that Ebbie's death was not natural. And when such an occurrence, when there's such an occurrence, then and the investigative agencies are not able to pin someone with that act, that there was a brand force trauma that caused her death, you know? It's there in the postmortem. So it means someone hit her. You get the point? So this person, and they are not able to pin someone with it, then they are supposed to do something we call inquest. Inquest is just calling out the public to come and share. But already we are past that. Already we have people who are saying, look, this is what had happened. I would not wish to divulge more information.
It's okay.
But we are looking at a probable charge for murder. Yes.
We have a case here.
Yeah, there's a good case. Okay, in murder cases, you need to prove two elements: that there was an act and that the person who acted had the guilty mind. Out of your action, someone died. So that act is already there. From the post-mortem, and someone died. I mean, there is even a death certificate. Then the mens rea, the guilty mind, you just need to show intent or motive. You can kill without intent, and you can kill without being, you know, when you are not able to prove intent and motive, then it is reduced to manslaughter. But now the aspect of manslaughter is washed away by something called this cover-up. For 3 years, someone has been working so hard, or there are people who've been working so hard to cover up. And I thank God, you know, just like a flowing river, you cannot stop water you cannot stop the flow of a river by your pump. It will eventually overflow, and that's what we are looking at. I know I've spoken in parables, but that is intentional. That you cannot stop the flow of a river just by your hand. It will overflow. Water will overflow. And I'm looking at once the Director of Public Prosecutions institutes these criminal proceedings, I'm looking into participating in the process. Now our law has expanded. There's something called the Victim Protection Act and Article 50 sub-Article 7 of the Constitution that gives victims right to be heard. Previously, before the enactment of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, cancel watching brief, or if you are representing the victim, that's why you say you are watching brief. You just sit down and listen, and you don't speak through the prosecutor. But I'll have an opportunity to even question the prosecution witnesses, to even access, to even advise. I can even have the leeway to adduce evidence that have otherwise been left out. And these, I'm saying, I've been handling this matter for Ivy Wangeshi, the girl who was murdered in Eldoret. And that's what we've been doing. I look forward into now replicating the same in this one, that we'll have an opportunity to present the grievances of the victim in this case, and help the court articulate just what happened. How did the primary victim, who is now deceased, meet her death? Yes.
I know this is a question many people have asked themselves, but does it also shock you that the alleged person in this case is still working, is still getting paid, is still, you know, is still accessing public services? Does it shock you that definitely had we kept quiet, this would be water under the bridge now? Absolutely.
And that's a question I've also asked all the way from the Teacher Service Commission. I've asked the DCI, I've asked the DPP, the Ministry of Interior. Really, when you are suspected of having done something in a just society, you're supposed to step aside and allow for investigations to be conducted. At this point, I would be a liar to say that we can rule out interference, because the same teachers who are being suspected of having done this are still teaching in the same school. I wrote a letter recently to the TSC. I'm yet to receive a response. I was telling them, look, on the bare minimum, at least transfer them, so that the students will now gather the courage to speak the truth. During my days, and I'm sure those days are not so long ago, no student would dare rise against their teacher.
Especially in high school.
And in this kind of scenario, where someone has surely lost her life, definitely, I think that decision is long overdue. And I challenge I know they watch, the authorities, that the powers that be, people who cause the shot at the Teacher Service Commission, they need to transfer these teachers. Every person who is a person of interest in this case need to be kicked out of that school on the bare minimum. I'm not saying that they get interdicted, but I'll be happy if they did. But there needs to be transferred so that we avoid something we call interference with witnesses. Yes.
I know so much has happened, and I know, again, as I said, there's a lot of things we can't discuss right now, because we also don't want to give away what you are working on, because you never know. But you've interacted with Mama Ebbie a couple of times.
Absolutely.
How is she now?
I'm a very bad judge of emotions. And I must say, it's not easy. You see, the pain of losing a child is only known to the parent. I'll be wrong to say, oh, I feel her pain. But I can tell that pain will only subside when she comes to terms. When she comes to terms with that the killers of her daughter have faced the full force of the law. But until then, I'm sure she's still struggling. There's still that turmoil inside her. You know, begging, you know, asking for questions, you know. And I'm sure there's more than just your human body. There is a soul to it. I'm sure Ebbie's soul, whatever it is, must be pricking her every day. You know, there must be that bitterness. But I'm happy. This is a journey. I'll not say that I have any messianic kind of intervention, but it's a journey I'm willing to walk with her.
Why?
I believe that what you do for others will outlive you. What you do for self will die with you. And just like it happened to her, there's nothing that will prevent it from happening to me or to any other person, unless we are willing to make this world a better place. And more so this country of ours. You see, there has been, I'll call them 3 generations. Every generation comes with its own challenges. There was a generation that fought for independence, and there was generations after that, which I don't wish to discuss now. There was a generation that fought for independence. That generation is now slowly passing away, you know. It's now handing over the mantle to a generation that fought for multi-party, you know, for the political rights and all that. You remember the Section 2A?
Yes.
I believe that I now belong in the third generation. What we are talking about, the third liberation of this country. We are talking about how do we make this world a better place if we have a lot of impunity in this country. We have runaway criminals, you know, people who can tell you utanipeleka wapi, I'll do whatever I wish to. There's no deterrence. We live in a country that has no deterrence. People don't fear because there are no consequences. You will probably you know, slither your way away out of the troubles, out of the consequences. Now, that's a challenge we have in our generation. I don't say I belong to the second liberation. I never fought for multi-partyism, for political space, for excesses by government. We are looking at the third liberation, the generation that will now rise up and say, look, there must be consequences of every action. And if that's what we do to make this world a better place, then we must rise up. And I'm just part of a big group. I know there are many people out there who are playing their roles. We have doctors who are treating patients. We have drivers who are making our roads safe, ensuring we get home. We have policemen who are fighting to keep us safe. And journalists who tell us the truth. Like our good Lynn Ngugi. But as an individual, my humble calling now is just like the human bird, you know, to in the retro droplets, you know, and hopefully we can light out, we can extinguish this thing called impunity. Yes, that even if that little effort will not save this generation, it can save the next generation.
Or the next one.
Yes, that we will not fear taking our children to school because we have cannibals in there. And sorry for use of that word, but there is no better word. If you can take away human soul, if you can take away a human life, then you have no humanity in you. And you deserve to face face the penal consequences.
I just took up another case of a student who also, you know, died after being sick at Ringer Boys. And the question I'm also asking myself right now is, are we starting to see the loopholes in our education system? And do you think there's still time to change in better ways, or even just communicate to the teachers and the students that this should be a safe space? It shouldn't be a prison. I'm just beginning to feel like we have this system that is more of a prison right now, where kids become scared more than empowered, where teachers become bullies more than advisors or counselors or parents. What can we do to better this situation?
And I completely associate myself with what you're saying, that how do you ensure that the system where you entrust your child is a system that will mold the child instead of extinguishing that child? And that's a question that we must put at the fore. One of the things we need to ensure that I think teachers need to be, and not just teachers, the people who are in school, the people who, even the subordinate staff, they need to be trained. We also need to assess them. Are they even in their right minds? Because someone might be battling mental illness.
Or they might be going through a lot.
And is the one you've entrusted your child to. And that's just one case. I have heard of another case, similar, almost similar script to Mama Ebbie's. Someone lost his child the same way, and now they are doing a cover-up. And the rest of the children, the rest of the students in school will never even appreciate the worth of that school. If the very life that God has given them has a threat of being taken away, we need to ensure that the people we entrust our children to, the teachers, the subordinate staff, the support staff, needs to be ensured. They need to either go through counseling, they need to be assessed, and it's a duty of the Teacher Service Commission.
Yes.
At the same time, if someone loses life, well, let's say in school, let's not downplay it. Let's not give those suicidal theories and all that, because there has been that back, you know, oh, someone committed suicide, but the post-mortem results was different. We need to ensure that those things are investigated, because unless we deal, unless we deal with it, we are creating a culture. Yes,
we are creating a culture.
It's a culture we are creating, and soon enough it will be normal. Say, si hata nani aliuawa. Yeah.
Wow, and they cannot be statistics.
No, and the human life has value. You have value. Yes. Even the most poor and the most powerful have value. Yes. You know, I would call even that person who is dying, you know, who has just some little life left. They have value. They have value. Yeah. You have what we call human dignity. It's even there in our constitution. Yes. That there is nothing bigger than your own dignity. Not even money, not even the country. That is bigger than your human life. One life lost is one too many. One too many. Yes, and you feel that when you lose, when you're on the receiving side. Yes. Right now it might just sound si kubwa sana, but until it happens to you. When it happens to you, until it happens to you, that's when you feel it. And you lose. I mean, what the hell would we be living here and our children are being killed? We need to think of a way forward as a society. And this should be a case in point. A case in point. Yes. Wow. I'm happy to have you again, to walk through a journey with you again. I don't think I've seen a person more dedicated than you. I can't remember the number of times we've been in court together, waiting for rulings, hearings, all these things. And we do not also take your efforts for granted. And we can only also say more grace to you as you embark on this journey. And I know we'll keep following it up. Where the law allows us now to talk about it, we will talk about it. But I'm happy now we have a starting point. I'm happy now we can go back to court and say, we want justice. Absolutely. And we want it the right way. Absolutely. You know, and I'm just happy that we get to do this and walk through this journey with you. So asante sana. Yeah, for the people who are watching and maybe they might not know where to find you, maybe you can also leave your contact details. I know every time you leave your contact details, you ask me, Lynn, why? Because, but again, hii kazi umeamua utafanya. So fanya tu roho safi. Maybe if you can give us your office line. And where can people find you? I practice in the name of Justiceforebbie and Company Advocates. I argue with my colleagues, my other partners, that the Ndegwa is, my Ndegwa is the first N in the triple. In the triple. Yes. But Justiceforebbie, we are based at Hazina Towers 9th floor. And my office telephone, I'll only give the office telephone because I'm not able to keep up with the calls with my personal phone. Okay. Is 07688 54 618. Okay. Yes. That's your office line. That's my office line. Any email, any official email also? Yeah, we have info@Justiceforebbie and Company Advocates. Okay. .co.ke. All right. Yes. And I believe those contact details are here as we speak. Absolutely. So, Wakili, I don't know if there's anything we left out that you wanted to touch on, or should we wrap this up? Just to say, okay, for criminal cases, and there's a rule called sub judice. Yes. Maybe the dear viewer might, or dear viewers might think, why is it that it's being hidden? There's a rule called sub judice that you cannot, especially in criminal proceedings where that a matter that is under investigation. We would not wish to reveal much, but I can assure you there is some effort being done. As late as even this week, we are pushing on, and we hope that at the end of it all, our dear viewer will even look at that judgment. Once the judge retires to write a judgment, once the people are charged, they'll be able to read the efforts made. Yeah, and just as a humble plea at the end of it all, you know, everyone has their calling. Yes. Everyone has their calling. in that own little way, that your little way, if you, for instance, you cook chapatis in a hotel, cook them nicely. It probably will brighten up one of your customers.
Yeah.
Let us play our part.
Let's play our part.
And when you do it
Yeah.
like you're doing to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't harm another person.
Yeah.
You may not see, I may not see it, but there is always a force. There is something we call natural force.
Yeah.
The natural law. It will always catch up with you.
It will always catch up.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, and as you've heard, guys, we do not want to be subjudicial. Of course, there are some details that even me right now, inaniuma niwaambie, lakini siwezi waambia. Lakini as you've heard, there is hope, a lot of positive progress that we are encountering.
Yes.
And when that time comes for me to be able to give you the updates without definitely breaking any law or being subjudicial, as you guys have heard it, I'll definitely be back here. And as you know, we follow our cases up to the end. So we cannot also wait to see what happens. And even in your endeavors, apart from handling this case, again, as I say, more grace to you. And may God bless you. And you, our viewer, who has been with us since day one when we brought you this story, we just want to say thank you for all the questions that you've been asking me. I've never seen such a loyal community as you guys. I love that you took this initiative. I love that you said, Ebbie might not be my daughter, but this is our daughter. You get it? Huh? Yeah, and I thank you guys for the way you stood up with Mama Ebbie and the way you stood up, you know, the way you've supported her, and for every time that you reach out to me, you email me and you ask me, Lynn, what's the progress with Mama Ebbie's story? I believe that we will continue bringing your progress. And I'm telling you guys, do not be, by the way, acheni you know, we have a thing in the country where you always feel scared of raising your voice. The time has come for us to raise our voice where necessary. I see a lot of people being intimidated. People do not even know their rights in this country. I'm telling you guys, the level of intimidation I even see people going through, you need to know your rights and you need to raise your voice when time comes. Because again, what joy does it bring you just looking, you know, through the fence and being like, oh, see wangu. The way it's said, you never know until it hits home. You do not know the pain until it hits home. So, kabla ugoje hit home, please be an active participant in matters that are affecting our community. We cannot stand and just wait and see a young kid. Every time I come to this house and I see her photo in the wall, right here on top of me, and I know it has also distracted Wakili a couple of times because he kept looking at her. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And as Wakili has said, if this is the last thing that we also do, if this is the last of our voices that we raise, you know, on behalf of Ebbie and those people who might not have had justice, then this is what we are going to do. So I'm asking you, I always say, the more you keep quiet, the more power you give them. Do not stop raising your voice. Raise your voice. Hashtag justice for Ebbie. Hashtag justice for baby David. And now hashtag justice for Rooney Rolex. Are we together? My people, we can do this. Do not let your voice be shattered by anyone at any given time. Even if these are the words that I'm going to be remembered by, I want you to remember me as the person who chose to raise her voice when it matters. And all of you, the thousands of subscribers that you subscribe to this channel, please raise your voice. Don't let it be shattered. Keep raising your voice. Keep saying their names. And also to other parents who they've reached out and they've told me, we've gone through this also, Lynn, and we also lost our kid. I might not be able to cover every person's story, but also this is the challenge to my friends also in the field. If you are a reporter and you are a journalist and you are able to hold another parent's hand, please do it. Let's just do this together. And of course, to thank my team. These are not the easiest stories to cover. Our legendary camera person and director, Edwin Ochieng. Thank you so much, Baba Bryson. He is so much involved in these stories, guys, and we cannot take his support also on this show for granted. And of course, the amazing editor who has edited this all through, our amazing, beautiful editor, Chebet Kirui. Asante sana for taking your time, and all our other friends and supporters. Asante sana. Please stay tuned. We'll give you update this is on a need to know basis now. When I feel like I need to come and address the nation, guys, nitawaita kamkutano. But till next time, thank you, and may God bless you for your support.